guys. I try and keep this short because obviously talking is probably quite boring and probably most of you are probably here for the plumbing bits, but just want to say thank you for all the subs recently. I think we reached 25 subs on the channel, which is really good for me. I never expected anybody to subscribe, but really appreciate those of you that have. Yeah, I just want to say this week's video there'll be some boilers. I think we're fitting a few boilers this week. There's probably going to be some pump changes as well. It's that time of year, the weather's starting to turn a bit colder. Yeah, and just see how this week goes really. Super busy at the minute, as I think everybody is really. But yeah, just thank you for all the subs. Obviously if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and thank you very much, and I'll see you in the video. So this job was Monday morning. It was a combi swap. I did remember to disconnect the rear expansion vessel on this, which always makes it easy when you lift these old boilers off. I always forget to do it, but I did remember on this one. Yeah, it was a pretty easy job really. Just I put the mini expansion vessel under the sink because there was some pipe boxing to go in front. Put a new car mag on to obviously fit for the scale. Yeah, it was a pretty easy job. I'll show you through it. So it had like a vertical flue kit on this one, but the flue actually went up and then across and out the roof, out the like gable end of the roof. So you obviously just got to watch your flue lengths and obviously make sure your flue's all screwed and supported up in the roof space. I reused the old nuts and olives on the jig because there was nothing wrong with them. Always just put a little bit of JetBlue Plus on the fittings. They're all suitable for hot or cold, central heating and gas, so it's really good stuff. The fill loop was actually connected the wrong way around before. The double check valve needs to be on the cold water main side to stop backflow coming in. Also should be disconnected. I did actually put an integral filling loop on this as well, but I decided to keep the external filling loop. It just makes it easier to fill up sometimes when you're on your own, because the keyless ones are okay, but you just have to hold the key down. So yeah, I kept that, but I put a new double check valve on it with the integral lever valve and a new lever valve on the heat side as well. So that's just the keyless Worcester filling link. They just hold on with I think they only send four Allen key screws on these, so yeah, they just bolt onto obviously the cold main and the central heating return. You just undo the two plugs and that just pushes in. Just grease your O-rings up, push it in, and then obviously do it up with your Allen keys. Always connect your condenser up and bring it through the hole on the jig first. It just makes it so much easier when hanging the boiler, because your condenser's already in place then. So this one just needed extending just with a socket and an elbow, and then just bring it through the hole, leave it, I don't know, 35-40 mil, and then the rubber just pushes straight on. It's a really top tip when doing these Worcesters. Just makes it so much easier. Also, you want to get your PRV connected up onto the red plastic clip thing. I don't know what you call it, but get that connected up. Remember to take your red bit off, otherwise the boiler won't hang on the jig properly. But yeah, get your PRV done underneath. It makes it so much easier before you hang the boiler. This is just showing that the filling loop is on the correct way around now. So always remember double check valve on the cold side, obviously protecting the main. Lever valve on the heating side. It makes it easy to drain down on the heating side as well because there's no check valve in the way. But always remove your braided hose after you've filled up. I always connect these up with a compression elbow. It makes it easier to disconnect in the future if you need to change that bit of pipe as well. You can't see that compression elbow when the boiler's hung because the plastic cover plate covers it at the bottom, so it looks nice and neat. Yeah, as I say, if you don't remove that red bracket clip thing that Worcester send out, you can't hang the boiler on the jig, and just use the two screws that hold that in place. Just to put that back through the bulkhead screws, obviously to hold your valves in. I always take the orange strip from underneath the boiler off outside because the boiler always has water in it, so you want to tip the boiler up outside, get rid of as much as you can, save carrying it through your customer's house and spilling water everywhere. So once you've done all your prep work, you can drop your boiler straight onto your jig. These aren't too bad to lift on. I can't remember the weight of them, but it's easily a one-man lift really. So just two hands either side. They're a nice even weight as well, if that makes sense. It just lifts straight onto the jig. Yeah, nice. Some boilers are really awkward, but these are really nice. Take your cases off, I always take the left and the right hand panels off on these as well. It just makes it a little bit easier. I don't think you have to. It just makes it easier to carry on, and then you're not going to scratch any of the panels either. But yeah, nice boiler to lift on really. These can sometimes be a little bit awkward to tighten up. This one went on really well actually. You just got to get your boiler just positioned just right. Sometimes you just need to give the bottom a little bit of a wiggle, if that's a technical term. But yeah, hopefully I always start like try and get the gas one lined up. Just make sure none of your washers have fell out. Your fibre washers. Get your middle one on and then do your two either side. I think that's what I normally do. I don't know what I do on this. But yeah, you just basically want to do them hand tight first. Make sure they're not cross threaded. A little bit awkward to do one handed, and then just tighten them up with the spanner. A little top tip with these is to put that rubber piece off the condense trap on first. That bit's always awkward to get on, so put that bit onto the trap first and then put the trap into the boiler. It just makes it easy to connect up. And this is where the bit of condense that you prepped earlier comes into play. If you just leave it 35-40mm forward, that rubber just pushes straight on, and it saves stress underneath the boiler trying to work your pipe in. So yeah, a little bit of prep work pays dividends. I always like to fill the system up straight away once I've got all the pipes connected. Just pressurise your system up to 1 bar to make sure you've got any leak, to make sure you haven't got any leaks. While you're there, you can check everything. Then, if you fill up last, you're always worried if you're going to be leaving, a leak or something like that. But you can, if you do it first, you can check everything. And like when you're doing other stuff, you can be checking to make sure you've got no leaks. We are actually screwing our flue pipe on this one, unlike the last guy who couldn't be bothered. It needs 2 flues on each flue joint. It's a little bit awkward to get to here, but you do need to put 2 in each one. So I know this flue is quite awkward to get to, but it's how it was before. The guy didn't want it coming out the roof. Always follow manufacturer's instructions as regards to flue length. I do actually need to check this one to make sure it's in, because it's got a couple of 90-degree bends on. But we're just going to change this flue like for like. So this is me just running through the commissioning procedure of the boiler. I'm not going to show the full commissioning procedure. The video is not intended for that. It's just to show a day in the life really. But yeah, just run through commissioning procedures to manufacturing instructions, do all your safety checks, everything really. Obviously I'm not going to go through them all, but yeah, you need to make sure you do all that obviously before handing anything over to the customer. I always keep the badges of the boilers as well. I don't know why, I just really like them. I've got loads at home. All the different old boilers and that you come across, I always, it's just like a little trophy I suppose. But yeah, it's quite interesting. So this job, it was just a complaint of a heating system banging. It's quite a common fault this time of year. It's just a pump stuck. I think it just been basically just boiling for the whole water. I'm not too sure how the whole water had been working, but yeah, the pump was stuck. This pump was actually red hot. Little top tip on these is I always use a gate valve to turn the pump spindles off on the valves of the pump. It just makes it so much easier, I find. And you can get a pair of grips on them and give them a good tweak around to make sure that they shut off properly. This pump was actually burning red hot as well, so nearly burnt my hand a little bit, so you've got to be really careful of that. Obviously isolate your electrical supply to the pump, make sure it is dead, using an appropriate tester to make sure it is dead. You don't want to be giving yourself a shock. I was really lucky on this one. Normally the unions don't come apart this easily, but normally if they're like rubber pump washers have been used, they're a lot better than the fibre ones. So yeah, it's just basically swap it. I put a Grundfos UPS 3 in. So yeah, you've got the customers heating all working, all them. Another thing is sometimes the air seps can block as well. I'm not a massive fan of air seps. They always just seem to block up and leak. So I was a little bit concerned when somebody says something's bang, it's either going to be a block cold feed or a pump. But I did actually switch the cold feed off on this one because I was at the top of the system. I'd switched the cold feed off in case one of the pump valves didn't hold, because sometimes they don't, and I've only got a little bit out into my tray. So yeah, that's just a little bit of a top tip if you are at the top of the system. Switch your cold feed off. And it all sounds a bit better when you get a bit of water circulation. Hopefully the boiler shouldn't overheat now and they should stop all the banging and everything. Right guys, today we've got changed this 1-year-old Ideal, I think it's a Logic Heat 24. We're putting a Worcester 24RI in. The boiler, basically this boiler's been nothing but problems. I'm not too sure what's wrong with it. The customer just wants it changing. So we're going to put a 22 Worcester system filter unit on it. Pumps up there, we're leaving the pump. So yeah, pretty much just a straight swap. The gas is 22 to there. It's obviously 15 to the boiler, but the gas meter's only just there, so I'm guessing the gas will be fine. It's on nail-on clips, but it's onto timber, so it should be fine. So yeah, pretty easy job really for this morning. So we'll just get this, get it drained down. We've got a valve on the cold feed up there by the looks. It's a little bit crispy. I've disconnected the power out of it already, and we'll get it drained down and get it swapped. What I'll probably do is just give the flue a little bit more of a fall on it, because it seems to be retaining water. When I pulled the elbow off, it kind of flooded out. So we'll give it a bit more fall anyway. The system was supposedly flushed out when this Ideal was installed, so we'll have a look at the water system quality. What I've done is I've turned that gate valve off there on that pump, and I've opened this drain off tap. I'm going to inhibit the system anyway. I've got my Magna Cleanse as well to bolt on if the system water's dirty, but it's less than a year old, so it should be okay. But we'll have a look anyway. I'll once it's drained down, I'll get the boiler lifted off the wall and we'll get the new one bolted in. Right, I've got the old boiler all took off the wall now. Just got to take this plate off. Obviously my gas and my power, everything's isolated. That's just dripping a bit, but it's only going into the tray, so not to worry about that. So yeah, just a case of bolting the new bracket on the wall. I'm going to put the new, as I say, put the new filter somewhere up there. Get the flue done, and we should be good then, really. So I've got the boiler all put on the bracket now on the wall. Just got the flow will go straight back in, one soldered socket, and then onto the preformed bends. The return, I'll put the new filter up here. I think the return comes out on the, that's the return on these on the right, so they're the other way around, but we'll sort that across the pipe. The gas will go back in. I'll probably leave this on 15mm to be fair. It's only feeding this one appliance, and literally the gas meter's there, so I'll check it all anyway. I could cut it back here to be fair and bring that down. I might do that. So yeah, and then I've just got the flue to do. So yeah, it's, what is it, 8:30 now, so I've been here half an hour, 40 minutes. Not too bad. And obviously the condenser, I'll just extend this across onto here, no problem at all. I'll do that one like that with a 22 compression on here, so you can disconnect the boiler. I'll solder that onto the old flow, and then just the return to drop in up here, and I'll cross for the filter, I think. That's our flow all connected now. I'm going to lag this anyway, so I'm not too bothered about shining the pipe up. Turn will come up here, cross, connect onto the filter unit, and then just gas and condense to do then in the flue. So I've got the pipe work all connected in now. I'm just going to add the inhibitor straight into the filter. Just got to feed a new wire through for the permanent live to the boiler. The old, whoever put the other boiler in hadn't done a permanent live. So feed one back through to the iron cupboard. I've just started putting my flue in now, guys. That's just a bit of grease on there, that flue's not damaged. I'm using the old Ideal flue brackets. I've got some Worcester ones in the van, but these are probably solider than the Worcester ones, to be fair. They're all Munson ring back. Flue's nice and solid. I built up my first piece, so obviously you can get the screws in the back. So yeah, all's good. The boiler's all piped up, basically just the flue to finish, and we should be good to go. So grease all your fittings up. Obviously these turrets turn, and then we're just heading out the same hole. I've given it a little bit more full now. The boiler's hung a little bit lower, so I might just have to move that next bracket. Yeah, all good. Right, that's the flue all put in now. Just got to put the last few screws in, but we've got a really decent, well, 3-degree fall on that. Now a bit better than it was before anyway, so that should be adequate for this boiler. According to manufacturer's instructions, it needs a, as I say, 3-degree fall, so all good. I just carry a tub of ready mix sand and cement in the van, just for patching up around my flue holes. Just mix a bit up. It's obviously always good practice to do a tightness test before you start doing any gas works. I'm not relying on this job because I could see the entirety of the gas run. I didn't do one before I start, but you always make sure you do one. Do one last. Obviously, I'm not going to go through the full tightness test procedure because this video is not for that. It's just showing a day in the life. But yeah, always make sure you do a tightness test as last thing once you've worked on any gas. I've always preferred this LDF with a brush rather than the spray. I just find it doesn't go everywhere. Obviously, if you don't know what it's for, you shouldn't be doing gas anyway. So yeah, I always use that one. Just got the boiler locked onto max. We've now got the correct amount of wires at the boiler. We've got a pump over and then a permanent live and everything now. So it all should be good. Right guys, that's this boiler all up and working now. Just got a little bit of pipe lagging to finish off, and the and just to tidy up. Yeah, it's all wired correctly now. All piped up nice and neat, all flushed out, all inhibited, and all ready to go for the customer. Hopefully the boiler has a better life than the old Ideal did. But anyway, that flue's not dented, by the way. It is just a shadow. So this is something I hadn't seen before. I fitted this pump about, I don't know, 13-15 months ago, and it was coming up with the blockage fault code, which is the flashing red and the flashing orange light. I tried to free this pump off, but it's absolutely solid, so I had to change the head on it. I'm not too sure what it caused it. The system water didn't seem particularly dirty, but yeah, I got it swapped for the customer under warranty. As I say, something I hadn't seen before on these Grundfos UPS3s. You can hear the pump trying to go through its cycle of trying to clear itself, but as I say, the impeller was absolutely solid on this one. I've never seen this before. That pump is locked solid. Should turn. Can't turn it. Can't free it. Less than a year old. I'll get the new one button back in. So we've got the heating all fixed. Just swap that pump out. Just noticed a leak on this blender, so I just fixed this one in here as well. or one split washer. So we'll just find a new washer for that, bolt it back in, and we should be good to go. I've got one. So I always put a little bit of Boss White on these. I'll just go back in there. Happy days. So I'll change on both sides, the hot and the cold. I'll also put a new washer onto that plate. And we should be good to go then. So I've put 2 new washers in this blender. So no dripping now. I think it's been leaking a while on top of this plate. Put a new washer in there. Change that pump. You just have to remember to turn all 3 isolators off on these, because you've got 1, 2 and 3. It should be good to go. I'll fire the boiler back up.